Hello and welcome to Doctor Who 4's first ever figure review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 4th Doctor from season 18 in Burgundy outfit with an accessory of K9 from Warrior's Gate. Now I'll explain a bit about K9 in a second, just about whether it is actually from Warrior's Gate or not. But first of all, let's get down to reviewing the main attraction itself, the Doctor. So, first of all, let's start with articulation. You have, obviously, your head, you have the shoulders, they do 360, the sort of upper arm, that does 360, you've got the elbows, and you've got the wrists, they do a 360 as well, but I won't do that. And that's on the other arm as well. Hang on. You've got the feet, the boots sort of, they do a 360 I think. You've got the knees, it's difficult to move because of the coat, but they do move. And you've got the hips, you can always see the sort of lines there, and actually the waist moves slightly, but it's difficult to move because of course you've got a big red coat in the way. So let's get on to detail. Now this is a completely new head sculpt for the 4th Doctor. You've got a new head sculpt that looks as though Tom Baker is older, which in fact he was, and he does look it in the episodes. So what they've done is they sort of made his skin a bit more lined, sort of starting to sag. They've got him having a slightly bigger, more pointed nose. His eyes are slightly greyer. His eyebrows are grey-ish, sort of, and his hair is beginning to grey a little. And he's got just a bit more miserable look on his face. It's a pretty realistic head, and I say it's probably the most realistic one yet, seeing as you have, they haven't just put on the old head, they've actually decided to make a new one to make him look more realistic. So the very first Tom Baker figure you could get out that was made by the same company looked realistic from that point of view, but this one looks realistic from this point of view. So let's move on to sort of the detail on his clothing. You've got obviously the very long stripy scarf. It obviously comes off pretty easily. It's quite firm rubber, sort of plasticky stuff. It doesn't bend that much, but obviously it bends enough for you. It's sort of the standard Tom Baker scarf plastic, really. And you've just got the sort of the trench coat look under here. You've got a slightly different shade of red for this part of the figure, and it's slightly thicker than other bits of the material. I'm thinking that was probably leather in real life, I'm not sure. You've got the buttons, they're slightly shinier than the rest of the plastic. You've got even detail going down right to the buttonhole on the left here. You've got holes all the way down here. You've got pockets at the side, they're pretty accurate. You've even got buttons at the back, and you've even got detail, I don't know whether you can see it on the camera, but you've got detail to go all the way down the seams as well. So that's the coat. Then underneath the coat you have his sort of trousers, and they're tucked into the boots. They're in the same colour, and of course the boots, as you can see, they're sort of brushed to make them look more worn leather. You've got the shirt underneath, and as you notice there are no question marks, but that's because the question marks would be underneath the shirt where the coat is. In fact, if you I can't probably show you on the camera, but myself, I've managed to work out that there are question marks on one side here where they sort of moulded them in, so they obviously thought about it, and they might be on the other side as well. I can't see because it's too far. I can't see and I won't try, but they might possibly bring out one that's later without a coat on, which will be quite interesting, seeing as that's actually often happened. Overall, that's just a very, very good figure, really. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about that one. Let's look at the canine briefly. Now, the more observational of you lot will probably think that's not the canine from Warrior's Gate. That is in fact canine that came with Rose Tyler in the Series 2 pack sort of thing, with robot spiders things as well, I think. No, it didn't. That was a different pack. And that's because it is this canine. I mean, even down to you push this down and that comes off. A little disappointing. But from my point of view, I really like this canine because I don't have one already. And if you don't have one already, I recommend getting the 4th Doctor that comes with this, because you've got a canine that you may have already wanted, and you've got another Doctor, and quite a good Doctor as well. Of course, it's a slightly lighter colour, slightly more bluey colour than the canine that you see in the late 70s and sort of 1980 time. They say it's this one's from Warrior's Gate. It isn't, but nonetheless, most canines look the same. Anyway, you know, they just have slight alterations. The buttons are different colours, that sort of thing. Obviously, if you already have one, you'll know that if you pull that and let it go, it sort of zooms off. Right. So, just a summary then. Right. I'd say I really recommend getting this figure. You've got a brand new 4th Doctor with a brand new head as well, and they've even, I forgot to mention this, they've even gone down to remaking some of the hands, so I don't know whether you can even see it on the camera, but they've made them look older. So on the outside he's sort of slightly more veiny, you can almost see sort of the bones in the hand, with the skin over the top. I mean, you know, he's not sort of decaying or anything. Ow, don't do that. Even on the inside you've got sort of more lines on the inside of the hand. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but he does look older, and I'd have thought that that's quite a bonus, really. That they could have just made the 5th Doctor body that they had for the regeneration, the newly regenerated 5th Doctor, and just stuck the old Tom Baker's head, sort of the normal one on there. But they didn't. They actually went to the trouble of making a new one, which I think is quite good. They look brilliant together, and as you can see I have my TARDIS behind, and they look superb in there. The sort of canine can sort of move around in here. Yeah, I'd definitely recommend getting this figure, and I hope you found this review helpful, and if you would like any more detail about exactly what the figure looks like, please just put comments below. Yeah, I hope you found it helpful, and that's bye bye from Doctor Who 4.